Hello, everyone. I'm Mystery.
And I'm Dalton Mortimer, the Authenticator, and we have the Duality of Man. So, that was a certainly very eventful week, wasn't it?
Yeah, Trump's first week has been like it's honestly been like a roller coaster.
We're
And
not
it never
even out of
stops.
January yet, and the man has already done more in the first week or so of his second term than Obama did in his entire second term, and let's not even mention what the corpse formerly known as Biden did in his term.
Biden basically didn't do anything except sign the shit that people put in front of him. And there was also an interview. I forget with who. I believe it was a congressman, and he wanted to talk to President Biden about this executive order that he signed that was negatively impacting um his congressional district in his state. So like he waits like a month to meet with the president, and then he says like, Mr. President, why did you stop this thing on, I believe it was liquefied natural gas? Like this is really negatively impacting like our state's economy. It's really hurting us. Like why would you do this? And also it's important to our allies. Why did you sign this order? And Biden was like, "What? I didn't sign any order." He's like, "Mr. President, I have the order right in front of me." He's like, "Oh no, that order is about." And then the guy realized that this man has absolutely no idea what the hell he just signed.
Yeah, Weekend at Bernie's now should be
Yeah,
retitled the Weekend at Bernie's.
they literally just put whatever they wanted, like his aides, his like chief of staff or whatever. Like they just made an executive order,
Pelosi.
put it in front of grandpa, and then he just signed it. Like Jesus, who the hell was running this country?
Pelosi, Schumer, and company, presumably.
Like this was this last 4 years was fucking awful. Like this should be like in the history books one of the most embarrassing times in American history.
Yeah. But again, looking on the bright side, in the course of only about a week, Trump has managed to accomplish more as a president than Obama did in his entire second term, and let's not even speak of Joe. So it's
Yeah,
going to be some very interesting times. If this was if this last week was basically just the opening salvo, this is going to be good by the end of things.
yeah. Well, one of the reasons why I've heard that Trump is going so hard is because like they put him through hell. And like, if he hadn't been through all of this and he just got a straight up second term, he would not be going this hard. But it's because he went through all this hell, almost died, almost got sent to
He
jail,
he
and he came out the other
realized he
side.
realized just how much they hated him and how much they wanted to obstruct him, and he just wasn't having it anymore. Which again, based.
Yes, like he's gone through the hero's journey essentially, and now he's out the other side, and he's a changed man ready to save America.
And I think the most important lesson he learned was just how many establishment Republicans did not have either his or the voters' best interests at heart, and therefore this time around he's been very very careful to basically weed out all the swamp creatures and get people in who, broadly speaking, align with his methods and message of populism, libertarianism, and fucking draining the swamp.
Yeah, like just because you win does not mean you can trust people to listen to you. Like he has to put his own people in and get rid of, because I've been seeing like a lot of like leaked Zoom meetings where like these people at these agencies and these like government bureaucrats are like talking about how they're going to try and subvert Donald Trump's presidency again. And he needs to clear out all these people because you cannot trust these fuckers.
I mean, that is the main reason why his first term wasn't nearly as effective as it could have been, because the establishment wing of the Republicans is no better than the establishment wing of the Democrats when it comes to this. If
And the
you
thing
are a
is, like,
populist and a libertarian, they hate your fucking guts and will do everything they can to stymie you unless you kick them the fuck out.
there was also a lot of people that were like put in their positions during the Obama administration that just didn't get removed because Trump didn't view it as important. He didn't realize how much these people could
Yeah.
screw with his agenda.
Yeah, I think he realizes now. I think he is no longer naively assuming, well, I'm the king, therefore they'll do what I say. No, sir. There, just as in Westeros, as in real life, there is always backroom treachery going on.
Yeah. So we have this video by the Lotus Studios about the executive orders that Trump has signed. Like, Trump has signed a lot of executive orders in his first week. I believe like 300, and we were surprised by how many Biden signed in his first week. But I feel like Trump has to do these things in order just to like get a lot of shit done immediately because the Democrats really fuck shit up, and like it's gonna take a lot of work in order to get things.
Well, and again,
track.
it's not even just the Democrats; it's the establishment Republicans too, the never Trumpers, the rhinos, etc. Like,
yep, absolutely.
So he's trying to do as much as he can to circumvent Congress's tendency to drag their feet on everything except things that screw the public over.
Yeah,
that's the old joke. Show me something that politicians claim is bipartisan, and I will show you something that uniformly screws everyone over. Because they only agree when they're screwing the public over and or lining their own pockets.
There was also a video recently, like I believe it was like one of the first reports from Doge, and it was basically showing like a bunch of government expenditures that they were canceling, and one of the expenditures where they were was millions of dollars going to buying condoms for Gaza.
What?
My reaction exactly. Why? Why
what?
in God's good name would we be buying condoms for fucking Gaza? Like, what, millions of dollars for this shit? What the fuck?
And I would like to remind everyone that there are homeless men in America. There are depressedly suicidal men in America. There are people currently locked in jail for no other reason than they can't pay child support in America. And Lord knows we can't get any sort of free birth control if you're a man in America. So I ask again. In theory, in a 100 years or so, when we're starting to inch ever closer to the whole numbers on the Kardashev scale, maybe then we can exhibit some kind of like charity and largesse to the rest of the world. But there are people in America, homegrown Americans, who do not have shit and could not take it even if they did have it. So why are we preoccupying ourselves with buying condoms for people halfway around the world when you can barely even get them here? And why was that at the top of anyone's mind in the first fucking place? Because even if you're doing the humanitarian aid thing, somehow I feel like that would be the last thing on anyone's mind.
Yeah. So let's get into the video for the executive orders, because there's been so much happening this week that we could talk about. That we could talk about it like all damn day. But let's get into the video so we can get some specifics.
Yep, banana.
It wasn't that long ago. You went to the White House website and you got this little mealy statement that was like, "Oh, if you're unvaccinated, you're going to have a winter of death and suffering ahead of you." You go to the White House website now and you're greeted by this. Let's just take a moment.
That is a very Trump thing to do.
Yeah, he's very good at playing the optics game.
That's pretty good. To appreciate that America is back. And the White House website now looks like that, which is very good. So in honor of Trump coming back, I will have to direct you. We are briefly returning our Trump merchandise, which is very good.
My heart goes out to you.
Now, I know some people have been trying to say that, it's been clipped disingenuously and that he was just saying, my heart's full of love and I throw it out to you and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's the wrong line to take. I think the right line to take is no, he meant it. Deal with it, lefties. And he's looking.
I think the
What's your take
correct
on the,
answer is Elon is a memester and he was memeing. Regardless of the context of the meme, there is a 99.999% chance that he was not serious regardless, and that he was memeing. Because Elon is many things, and one of those many things is an autistic lover of memes, praise Keck.
Yeah, and also like no one who's paid any attention to Elon Musk during his entire public career but would believe that this man is a Nazi in any way. Like it's just a ridiculous.
Again, he's optics trolling is basically what's going on there, if anything. It's the same as when I think it was Ta-Nehisi Coates portrayed Red Skull as a Jordan Peterson analog, and Jordan Peterson ran with it and went, fuck it, we're releasing Heil Lobster merch now.
That was funny and also ridiculous. But I think one of the appropriate responses is like, who cares? You fuckers would literally scream and moan about literally fucking anything. Like, why the hell should you lost spectacularly? Like, why the hell should we have to listen to you about anything?
And again, that might be the very point that Elon is making. The very point of, I no longer give a fuck what you people think because neener. And again, let he who is without 4chan history cast the first stone.
Yeah, and it's like these people will literally make shit up, like clip out of context, like twist anything in order to find, manufacture something to attack these people on. So all this screaming and molding, like you can literally just ignore it at this point. Like they had 4 years to prove that they were the better option, and they failed spectacularly
on every conceivable vector.
Looking at me in horror there.
The fact that leftists online and media is focusing on this as the attack point for the inauguration, I think shows that they don't have really anything else to go on, because this is a fabricated scandal. It's not a scandal. I watched the thing live.
Yes.
And you can also look at the reaction from the people in the audience. Nobody interpreted that to be a fascist salute at the time. And this is also coming from a man who's been open about his own neurodiversity. And that's also been ignored from the media coverage in this as well. And they also haven't even reached out to him for comment on what he meant. And if you watch any videos of public figures who have given speeches, any moment photograph can capture that same type of gesture.
Personally, I'm inclined to lean into it, but you do make some excellent points there. But no, on a serious note, I will say to those of you who are leftists, who are deeply concerned, and you're feeling anxiety about the incoming presidency, I just want to say that we're not interested in olive branches at this point. After 4 years of your woke, tyrannical,
would you offer an olive branch to these people?
Well, no, because, frankly, every time I say something that's not social justice approved, I get called a fascist and a right-winger anyway, despite being a Bernie bro. So, again, it's less of a I left the left and more the left kicked me out of the door. So, what the hell else am I supposed to do here? My positions have not changed. I'm still in favor of things like Medicare for all, still at least willing to give Yang's freedom dividend thing a chance, etc., ad nauseum. My positions have not changed. The left keeps telling me to get the fuck out because I have internalized homophobia and internalized ableism and internalized whatever the fuck else. So, no.
sanity.
It wasn't only 4 years. Much longer than that.
Yeah, well, 4 intense years, but longer than that. Yeah, after all of your insanity, we are here to crush your evil dreams. We are going to strip away your twisted achievements, and we will literally milk your rising stars.
What is this picture?
Oh dear.
on national television.
Why?
And
So
it's shifting.
this I understand is actually an artificial intelligence generation.
Was it?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I thought that was a.
Yeah. So there's a meme going
Was it
around.
supposed to be real?
It's funny that AOC is going to get milked on stage.
Yes.
Disavow.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Don't approve.
Well, almost 100% of us disapprove. Right. So, what we are actually here to talk about is there has been a few executive orders signed yesterday that I thought we should really get into. And I'm not going to play because he basically sat there for a couple of hours going through these things, just chatting to reporters as he went. I'm only going to dig out this one bit.
By the way,
Samson,
did you see his conversations with the reporters?
Yeah, he was doing like a live interview while he was getting all this work done. This was something Biden could possibly do.
And they kept trying to throw him hard balls and to catch him out, and all he did was basically it reminded me a lot of the Indiana Jones scene, the guy with all the swords and things, and then Indiana Jones just comes out and bang. Like that's what that reminded me of, honestly, because you could tell they were trying to like morally shame him or play the decorum card, and Trump just straight memed on them the entire freaking time. The sheer level of I don't take your mainstream media seriously and you have no power over me was palpable the entire time, and it was glorious.
You know, I don't know if it's mentioned here, but he did end up declassifying the JFK, RFK, and MLK assassination files. Like, he actually did that.
I heard he was thinking of doing it. I didn't realize it went forward already.
Yeah, he actually did it.
Based. Again.
Yeah, and people were getting upset over him about the releasing of the January 6th prisoners. And yeah, I actually watched an interview with J.D. Vance, or he was asked about this by a reporter that he completely owned during the interview.
Oh, the I don't care Margaret thing?
Yeah, that was the same interview. But what it was, it says, like, it's not just a matter of what the people did. It's a matter of fact that many of their constitutional rights were violated by the Merrick Garland Department of Justice. And like, if like, I have to agree with them, like, if you're locked up and like the Department of Justice and the prison system is violating your constitutional rights like for years, give them a pardon.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think about just the sweeping pardons? Because they're saying that some of the people that were pardoned had fought with police officers and whatnot.
I don't care. They've already been detained for like 3 years on no due process or meaningful charge to begin with. So, like, at that point, you'd be getting time served anyway.
Yeah, and also, like, a lot of these people have suffered in inhumane conditions for years. That's more than enough
because they weren't just criminals, they were ideological criminals, therefore fuck them, etc.
Yeah.
Because this is quite funny, actually, this one.
Withdrawing from the World Health Organization. So withdrawing from the World.
So just in case you didn't hear it, he's handed.
I'm glad we're out of the WHO. They completely fucked us on COVID.
Yeah, frankly, the UN is a fossil from a bygone age too, and it should be disbanded right along with the EU, but baby steps.
Also heard that we were paying the World Health Organization like I think $45 million a year, and then when they found out that we were leaving, that they offered to, let us pay them less, which begs the question: one, why do you want us to stay so badly? And two, why were we paying you that much at all?
Because they felt they had the moral legitimacy to milk us because we deserve it somehow, derp.
Like all these like so-called international organizations, like so many of them just end up screwing America. So why America shouldn't be part of them any longer?
Not to mention, a lot of them are just straight up pet projects for Germany, which I was under the impression that letting Germany have international control over things was sort of the whole point of the previous World War there, but I must have been mistaken.
Yeah.
You'd think, for as much as people use the Nazi word, you'd think they would remember. Oh wait, we shouldn't put Germany in charge of things, and yet who leads the EU Council? That would be Germany, helped out by France,
Yes.
which again,
Ger-
the last time Germany and France collaborated on a thing, I recall it being somewhat of an issue for most people, but apparently not.
yes, Germany has once again cucked France and proceeded to destroy Europe yet again via different means.
And yet, we are the ones they call Nazis. Not the German internationalist imperialists who want to subordinate France and thereby subdue all of Europe. No, they are the good imperialist Germans. Not like those bad imperialist Germans who at least acknowledge the thing that civilization should have borders.
Yes, ruled by bureaucrats that none of the civilians in any of the nations get to elect.
Uh-huh. Are we sure that this wasn't just Plan B? Are we sure they didn't realize they got caught in 1945 and go, okay, so now we must switch to the Plan B?
I mean, entirely possible. I mean, people like that usually do plan out the long game.
Yeah.
I am happy that the people of Germany are trying to, throw off a lot of this like internationalist bullshit. Like,
I am a bit worried though, because Germans don't deal with gray areas very well. They tend to take whatever they do to its logical endpoint. And
well, I feel like I think they've been whipping themselves for, the Nazi regime in World War II for long enough to like I'm not saying that we forget what happened in World War II, but that people of a nation should not be raised to hate themselves.
The bottom line here is, we forgive you, Germany, and you should forgive yourself, but that forgiveness is dependent on this very important thing of don't do it again.
Yeah, but it's like so many people are saying that Germany shouldn't forgive them. The Germans shouldn't forgive themselves.
I mean, they should, because it was literally an entire lifetime ago. But again, the point here is, you are finally ungrounded, Germany, but don't let us catch you doing it again. If I see a single swastika, Germany, we're doing to you what we did to Japan, because we're not doing this shit again.
An executive order, and he says, "What's this one?" And the aide says, "It's withdrawing from the World Health Organization," to which he gets a large ooh out of that. So, all of the executive orders can be found here.
Can we get an executive order banning Klaus Schwab from U.S. soil? I would like that one, please.
And throw in George Soros while you're at it. Not that he's on death's door anyway, and good, because fuck him. But
I believe his son is now running the cabal.
Oh dear.
Yes, it's been passed to another generation, unfortunately.
Hey, they're doing better than our politicians. We still have fucking silent generationers in there.
There's quite a few of them. I have read all of them, and I was basically just going to go through them and give a short summary on each. Jump in whenever you want, but otherwise I'll keep it fairly brief because there are so many. But I just wanted to get it on the record what is actually out there. So, first one, guaranteeing the state's protection against invasion. So he's basically invoking Article 4 of the Constitution, saying that the United States is under invasion, which sort of gives him additional powers to sort of go out there and get stuff done.
It is.
So
deport illegal immigrants.
Well, yes, that as well. Yes.
And yesterday there was these viral videos coming out at the on the Mexican side of the border, south of El Paso, Texas, of migrants who are just in tears and infuriated that their appointments that were scheduled on the federal app were all
Yes.
cancelled.
Apparently, that app stopped working very, very swiftly, didn't it?
Yeah, on
that's-
day
that-
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Like the app would basically allow somebody to cross in illegally and then apply for asylum, or apply for asylum before they even got there, and also not at a legal point of entry where they're fucking supposed to.
But why not just? I know, like, citizenship is a bitch to apply for and everything, but why not just do it the legal, proper way exactly?
Because they don't care. All they care about is getting in and getting what they can get. Which, if there was a nation better than us that was being run by insane Democrats that were going to give me a bunch of free shit, like, I wouldn't do it, but I could see the incentive.
Mm.
That's not this EO, but it is one of them. That's certainly on the list. Next, we've got restoring names that honor American greatness. So basically, Mount McKinley is being Mount McKinley again, and the Gulf of Mexico is going to be the Gulf.
Oh, did they
America.
change it to honor Native Americans or something?
It was something like that, yeah. So the park itself apparently stays the same, but the mountain is going back. And in future, all landmarks and things like that are going to celebrate American heroes.
Good.
Which is very sensible.
Shouldn't really need to be said,
Yeah.
especially let alone legislated for. But here we are.
Yeah.
That's the really
is a
sad
good
thing
one.
here.
Designate
So much of
cartels
this
and
is
other
so much of this is so obvious and automatic duh stuff. It amazes me it's taken 12 years to get this far. Like, for all of the SJW types are freaking out because the other side is winning now, it's taken us 12 years to even get this far. To the point that we have to expend time saying a bunch of obvious shit that shouldn't even need to be said.
Yes, and I would also like to extend my gratitude for all the coping, insane, molding leftists for turning Donald Trump into Doom Guy. Because without that, we would not be winning nearly as much as we are right now.
Organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and specifically designate global terrorists. So basically that's the drug cartels and MS-13. They're going to be just fined as terrorists so that extraordinary legal measures can be used to
Why
combat
weren't
them,
they
so the
already?
military can be deployed against them.
Good.
So all very sensible there. It doesn't.
I don't know. Probably because they pay off a lot of politicians in America and Mexico.
Because, I mean, the FBI was founded to deal with the mob back in the day. And are you honestly telling me that the cartels are better than the mob or less bad than the mob? Because press X for disagreement there.
Yeah, the cartels are far more savage. If you could reasonably assume a mobster wouldn't kill you if you did everything not to piss him off.
Mm. Because there was at
You
least
can't
the
say that
veneer of, like, gentlemanly honor there.
Yeah, like you can't say that with a cartel member.
No. Not to mention all the human trafficking.
Yeah, trafficking of children, like the brutal murders. Like, and also, I think one of the distinctions is that by declaring them terrorist organizations, now the military can get involved.
Which, again, this probably should have happened. So, speaking of, why wasn't this designated when the war on drugs started back in, I think it was Nixon's day, or was it OBJ who declared the war on drugs? Like, what one would think one of the crucial aspects of the war on drugs is to criminalize the shit out of people who are engaging in the drug trade, especially with the aforementioned human trafficking and drug muling involved.
I think they were more focused on people getting high in their college dorm room and not really understanding how big of a thing this was.
So, in other words, the government had its priorities exactly ass backwards again.
Yes.
Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Doesn't explicitly authorize the invasion of Mexico. It's mainly focused on U.S. soil at this point.
It's shocking to me that there's been this foot drag.
Hold on. There was a reporter who asked Trump regarding the cartel situation on whether or not he would rule out an invasion of Mexico, and he said, "No, it's on the table."
Good.
And here's the thing: they want to like.
The more unpredictable he is, the more likely they are to acquiesce to his actual and far more reasonable demands.
Yeah, here's the thing: like they want to like handcuff Trump by asking him these, like bleeding-hearted moral questions. But here's the thing: like when you're negotiating or trying to look strong in front of your enemies, no, everything is on the table.
You
Even
play
if you're not
your
going,
cards close to your chest so that your opponents don't know any of your tells. Like any poker player should be able to tell you this. You want them to, and make sure that they do not see your cards or any indicators on your face as to what your cards are.
yeah, and even if you're not going to do it, like don't tell them that, because then they'll plan around the thing that they know you're not going to do.
Ambiguity is your friend in this regard. The more you can have them second guessing what you will or will not do, the better.
Yeah, like you're not going to nuke a country. But if you can convince them that there's a chance that you might, like that could solve like a lot of issues.
That's a hell of a lot of leverage in and of itself right there.
Yeah.
Dragging all through the years about hesitation of designating some of these cartel groups as terrorists, because these are paramilitary groups with access to weapons that are more powerful than the Mexican military. They occupy land, and the acts of brutality that they commit on American citizens who have been caught up in their territory, of course, Mexican citizens and others. I mean, really horrible war crimes that I can't say on air. And
genuinely most atrocious things you can imagine happening.
yeah, like what IS
Proper
does
evil.
is what they do.
Yeah.
And it's terrorist activity in addition to funneling in money and drugs that kill tens of thousands of Americans.
So
every year.
this is the one that
Yeah. I mean, they are terrorists in the purest sense of the definition, in that they use terror and fear in order to achieve political ends, because they intimidate politicians.
And that's not even counting all the gang war casualties, and again, the human trafficking.
Yeah, and
Lord only knows what unspeakable crimes they do to the people they human traffic. All the raping and pillaging and so on.
Yeah. And speaking of gang war, like in Chicago, there's been a rise in Argentinian gangs who are clashing with the Chicago gangs. So there's a real chance of an international gang war breaking out because the mayor of Chicago is a fucking moron.
Uh-huh.
Like,
again,
do you
I
know
must
about
ask
Mayor
the question:
Brandon Johnson?
How in the hell is the fictional Chicago blasted by a Titan somehow in a better place than the actual IRL Chicago right now?
Because, and like I said before this stream started, Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, cares more about appearing to be a good Democrat politician than actually serving his constituents. Because I've seen some Chicago City Hall meetings, and people are freaking streaming at them. There are actually constituents in Chicago that are calling on Trump and Tom Homan to come in and arrest this guy whenever he tries to stop them from taking illegals.
Yeah, like I said before we went live, as per usual with these people, the abstract is concrete and the concrete becomes abstract.
Yeah, like Brandon Johnson sold out his city like damn near from day one. And like there is no way in hell that this man is getting reelected. So, and the thing is, like, his opinion ratings are so low that he and he is so unpopular that he knows he's not going to get reelected. So he's just doing whatever the fuck he wants.
When is the next election cycle for them?
I don't know. I'll look it up after the stream. But yeah, he's done. Like he has torched his political career.
Mm-hmm.
I think will restore the US military, because at the moment, if you join the military, what are you joining for? To go and bomb random brown people? But
Pride parades in Uganda.
yeah, exactly. But if you join now, you get to shoot drug cartels.
Yeah.
Which-
There's actually a moral use of the
Yes.
military here.
Yeah, so that is much needed American restoration there. Right, next, reforming federal hiring process and restoring merit to government services. So basically what this is doing is saying you can no longer use sex or race as hiring factors. It does make a carve out for you allowed to prioritize candidates who support constitutional values, government efficiency. So basically this is the anti-twerking executive order.
Interesting that it has an ideological carve out. So there is a privileging of a more sort of traditional American.
Yes, we want to hire people who aren't going to violate Americans' constitutional rights. Yes.
Also, meritocracy is better
Yes.
than any of the above. Like,
And, I just had a thought about this. Like, a lot of these government, like, DEI people, like, one, they're trying to hide, like, in the ATF, like, people caught them changing the title descriptions of this woman on the ATF website to hide the fact that she was their DEI director.
I see. It's kind of like how they're trying to make bridge a thing now that ESG and DEI are poison.
Yeah, it's same shit, different wrapping. But, like, I was just thinking, like, a lot of people are, saying, like, well, if you get rid of all the illegal immigrants, who's going to, pick the fruit? Which is the same argument about if they got rid of all the slaves. But I was just thinking, a lot of these DEI people are going to be out of work. They can pick the fucking fruit and actually be of use to society for once in their fucking lives.
Also, the obvious answer is all of the native-born working class who haven't been able to find a job because corporations are cunts.
Yeah, it's like I swear, the Democratic Party has not changed in over 150 years. Like, they're still complaining that the
No,
Republicans
they've
trying
just
to
changed the
take-
rhetoric to look more sympathetic on the outside.
Yeah, but it's like you're taking our underclass who is doing all the work that we can't be deigned to do. Like, how dare you? But it's like you are treating these people like not like slaves because you're not actually whipping them, but you're treating them like serfs in like a medieval kingdom, like this like underclass with like less rights.
Yeah, no, it's
doing
even
all
worse
the
because
grunt
at least serfs could rely on noblesse oblige. They want all the perks of being aristocrats with none of the responsibilities of being aristocrats.
Like the parties didn't switch. The Democrats just got better at hiding their evil.
Including from themselves, oddly enough.
Yeah, because like a lot of these people, like it's just the same like with a lot of people who hate Trump. They don't know why they believe these things, and they have no logical basis for why they believe them. They can't walk you through about why these things are good. They just believe them because
Presuppose it by definition. Yep.
But at least now they're losing.
Yes.
American ideology contained within it, which I think is completely appropriate. There's no reason we can't privilege ideology. It's actually one of the few things we're allowed to discriminate against now, is a person's political beliefs. So interesting how he's specifically put that in there.
Yes. So, yes, much less twerking will be taking place at the high levels of government appointments now.
Thank God.
Ending radical and wasteful government DEI programs and preferencing. So, yeah, DEI is gone. Yeah. At least as far as DEI as we know it, it's now going to be Don, Eric, and Ivanka. But this one is actually already working, and we can see if my link thing works. There we go. So that was a federal site yesterday, with their DEI page. And then you can see from today, it's gone.
I love that picture.
Mm-hmm. No.
Like I said, like it's good that he's getting rid of it, but he's got to be careful because they're trying to hide themselves.
Yep. Also, I just want to throw this out there. take a few slaps at ESG while you're at it, because that's another one of those root and stem things. If you get rid of DEI but you don't get rid of ESG, it would just metastasize into a new form of cancer.
Is ESG in the government? I thought it was mainly in the private sector.
I mean, I think there's some overlap there, but because I mean the G of ESG is government, so.
But yeah, like a lot of this stuff, like he pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords again, because like America signing on to these ridiculous agreements isn't going to stop shit when China is building new coal plants and like
Yeah.
India's pumping out carbon like crazy.
Yeah. Not to mention, if we sign on to it, it would be mostly us footing the bill for it anyway. So yeah, no, you don't get to raid the U.S. piggy bank every time you have a new stupid idea.
Sorry, I clicked on the wrong tab.
So yes,
Superb.
And also, I found out that the La Casa Blanca, which is the Spanish White House a page and social media handle, has been deleted.
Oh, good. Excellent.
right. It's taking.
So Trump is now affecting the policy of the Mexican government. I mean, he already put Colombia in its place. I mean, affecting Mexico, who's right next door, is obviously no big leap.
Mm-hmm. Especially when he wants Panama back.
Yeah, it talks to buy Greenland. Like, what is the problem if America acquires Greenland?
Honestly, there's a part of me that has a little bit of a tinfoil hat thing going on with all this Greenland and Panama stuff. I wonder if Trump heard about the Louisiana Purchase and decided to beat Thomas Jefferson's high score of expanding the U.S. with.
I mean, yeah,
And I mean, either it's Puerto Rico or it's Costa Rica. Hasn't one of them been wanting to be the 51st state for a while now?
I mean, they have, but I think one of the reasons why they haven't is because their economy is in shambles.
Well, if I were Trump, especially if I were planning to my presidency was coinciding with the I think it's 250th anniversary of the U.S. I would fix things so that Panama, Puerto Rico, and Greenland could all be inducted into the Union around the time of the anniversary.
That would be interesting. It might create some issues internally, but at this point, people have been so upset about the Trump Greenland thing. I almost want him to do it just as a fuck you.
Yeah, honestly, I think it would be an excellent way to solidify his legacy. Because again, it'd be like essentially trying to beat Thomas Jefferson's high score.
How big is Greenland?
How much more iconic can it be if you're the one who adds new states to the U.S. essentially?
Like, how big is the Louisiana Purchase in comparison to Greenland?
I'm not sure square mile wise how much it is, but obviously it was a pretty big chunk. I know Greenland's bigger than Alaska, and I think also bigger than Hawaii. So,
well, Hawaii is a group of islands, so it's not very big.
Right. But I know Greenland would be bigger than Alaska if Trump gets us Greenland. And again, if while you're at it, if you want to throw Panama and Puerto Rico in there as well, that'd be good. And that's the kind of legacy that they can't reframe reputation wise after he leaves. It's why I'm curious if he's thinking in terms of his legacy.
Yeah. And here's the thing: if they still want to keep it an even number of 50 states, what they can do is fuse the Dakotas together and then tack Rhode Island onto some other state. Rhode Island is so damn small; it really shouldn't be its own state.
Also, also the Carolinas and the Virginias could stand to be unified as well.
I think some people in West Virginia would vehemently be opposed to that.
It is possible.
All of this is happening fast, which is good to see.
Yeah.
Right. What else we got next? Oh yes, establishing and implementing the President's Department of Government Efficiency. So Doge. That's going in, and the way that they're doing it is apparently they are going to rebrand the US digital services as Doge.
Right. Okay.
So that gets around with things. How are you going to establish a new department and staff it up and get it all done quickly? Well, they're just going to take an existing one,
give it to Elon
and
Musk.
modify it. Yeah, so it's already in the apparatus, and apparently that has tentacles. That digital service thing, it has tentacles into all of the other stuff.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm
that's
curious how much work they're going to be able to get done, because I think there's a definite expiration date to it, which I think is something of a mistake. I'd keep it around.
Yeah, I believe it's a year and a half.
Yeah, sometime in 2026 is when it's supposed to be on or done. I think it might be July 4th, 2026.
Yeah, because that is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Which again, if you're looking for a legacy, Mr. Trump, the Greenland maneuver and the Puerto Rico maneuver are probably, or is it? I always get Puerto Rico and Costa Rica mixed up. They sound too similar in my head. But whichever one of those has been waiting in the wings to become a state for a while, throw that one in there as well as Greenland and hell, even Panama if you want to. Like that would be based.
Yeah, my only concern is again, like some of the people who are already within this department that they're going to be retrofitting into Doge, just gut the department and just hire new people. Because,
well, he certainly doesn't seem like he's opposed to that, so it'll probably happen.
Yeah, but
That's why they're using that. Although they are giving themselves a time limit, so it's 18 months. So this terminates on the 4th of July, 2026.
That's actually superb, though, because that
Yes.
means that Elon Musk can't kick his heels.
No.
And waste time.
The Department of Government Efficiency is going to have to be efficient itself.
Yes. Superb.
In order to get anything done. Right. American First Policy Directive to the Secretary of State. So basically, this is saying that when the Secretary of State is doing stuff, he needs to put America first.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting that needed to be said, but evidently that it does.
We have to
Again,
talk about
why does it need to be said? Because
a lot of other secretaries of state, in order to make international deals, would purposely screw over America in order to make other nations happy, in order to get certain deals done.
okay, but if the deal isn't of benefit to the U.S., then why would you make it?
Well, it's
in
not
the first place?
Well, it may not be of benefit to the U.S., but it could absolutely be of benefit to the politicians.
I see. So once again, benefit for me and none for thee, as it were.
Yeah. Like, the fact that, like America's been so screwed over on the international stage. It's like, there are countries who are, screeching because Trump, is cutting a lot of foreign aid. And there was this one African president, I forget which country, but he basically said, shut the hell up, get off your ass, and actually do some work. If you can't survive on your own, then maybe you don't deserve to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And it was incredibly based. And if these countries cannot survive without a constant stream of aid from the United States of America in exchange for basically fucking nothing,
Then
maybe
perhaps
you
we
shouldn't
should
exist.
cut the net and let them fall where they may, so to speak.
Or just own them.
Again, the Jefferson solution springs to mind. instead of paying off the French, we could just buy the Louisiana Purchase outright and then expand the country. Lol.
But the gender ideology one, it was a couple up. I think it got skipped.
You know, did it?
Defending women. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, that's a good one. No, well done, Andy.
Two genders.
Yeah, so defending women from gender ideology extremism and restoring biological truth to the federal government. I love that term, biological truth.
That is a good term.
Can you click on it?
Yeah.
It just like, I mean, this has been debated in your country and my country for years now, this topic, and this is the clearest law I've seen defining what sex is, what gender ideology is, and how it's so destructive to women's rights and also our understanding of biology and humanity as well. It's really worth reading. It's
What are your thoughts on this one in particular?
Again, it's one of those, this is frustrating that it even had to be said or done thing. Like just from what that dude said there, of like, it's been a huge debate in both of our countries, etc. Like, what is the state of the Western world when that is the caliber of debate we're having? And it's not even to discriminate against trans people thing. It's literally are there not infinitely more important things we ought to be doing with our time and resources than quibbling over gender bullshit?
Yeah, it is. It's like you personally can believe whatever the hell you want, but it's the beating the rest of society into compliance where shit starts to get messed up.
Yeah, it's where you insist that not only are you allowed to believe what you believe, but you must enforce those beliefs on everyone else because reasons.
Yeah, and Trump also signed an order that transgenderism is no longer allowed in the military, which people are upset by. But I totally understand that because a lot of stuff happens in the military very quickly, and also it's about combat effectiveness. Like if you have somebody going on like surgery or hormone replacement therapy, like they're not going to be able to be combat ready because you don't want someone's internal hormones to be out of whack in the middle of a freaking combat zone.
Yeah, because shell shock is already dangerous enough. Throw hormonal imbalances on top of that.
Yeah, and not only that, but it's like it creates an extra layer of complication that is just not needed in the military.
Not to mention the very often like narcissistic tendencies of a lot of such people, and narcissism doesn't do well when you are in a team unit.
Yeah, it's like there have just been so many spaces that I've seen where the moment one of these people walked into a room, they try to make everything about themselves.
And I'm sorry, but why would someone who's having gender identity issues even want to be in the military? Because if you're a trans woman, i.e., male to female, shouldn't you be striving to get away from masculine gender roles? And if you're a trans man, well, sorry, sweetheart, but assuming you went through female puberty, there are biological differences that make you less capable of passing the physical requirements to join the military. And that's the other thing. A lot of this can be disambiguated by the simple fact of pass the biological standards tests and things, pass the physical fitness tests and things, without it being edited, without it being special pleaded down. Now, if you can do the things that physical demand requires of you to do, then I am fine with the idea of you being in the military. If you can't do the physical things required of you in the military, then you should not be in the military.
Yeah, like the standards for the military have already been watered down for women to a dangerous degree. Like adding transgenderism on top of it is just going to be worse.
It's
in
like
every metric.
it's like the firefighter thing we saw during the LA fires there. Did you see that one gay dude whose response to I don't know if you could get me out of a burning building, and his response was, well, if your husband is in a burning building, then he made a mistake to begin with.
That was a woman.
Was it?
Yes, it was a lesbian.
It looked like an extremely effeminate gay guy. Sorry. And
you're right.
androgyny is a hell of a drug. But either way, like, yes, they are in an odd situation, and that's why they call it the firefighters. That's like when you are an emergency response unit, you're going to wind up in a lot of emergency related situations which you will have to respond to. This isn't that hard.
God, can you imagine what what are these like if a transgender soldier being captured by the fucking enemy?
Especially in the Middle East, that gets very X-rated real quick.
Yeah, that is going to be bad for them. Like it's bad enough like if a woman POW gets captured, because we already know what's probably going to happen to them. But like,
if you're a trans woman, then who boy are they gonna have fun with you? I mean, this is the culture I've mentioned this before, but this is the culture that gave us ladyboys. The culture that gives us castrating young boys so they can't go through puberty, and then engaging in sexual liaisons with them until you get bored enough, and they usually wind up just killing them afterwards. So
yeah, that's provided if they don't just bring out the Rockster, give you a short trip with a tall roof.
Yeah, there's that too. Again, it's one of those things where when I saw Queer for Palestine the first time, I was like, are you sure that's the hill you want to die on? Because I'm pretty sure someone will build a skyscraper on that hill, and they will oblige you rather quickly.
Yeah, like, are you sure that's the hill you want to die on? Because you will be dying on it.
As soon as they finish the freaking Dubai Tower and install an elevator, they will oblige you in that regard very, very quickly.
All right, I'm gonna play a little bit more.
Yep.
Very clear.
Yeah, no. In fact, it says that the efforts to eradicate the biological reality of sex fundamentally attack women by depriving them of their dignity, safety, and well-being. The erasure of sex in language and policy has a corrosive impact not just on women, but the validity of the entire American system. And that is the key part of all of this, because philosophically, what they've been doing is attacking our ability to categorize.
I
To
mean,
divide one thing from another and declare one thing to be different to another. The very concept of differentiation was what.
I'm not sure how much I like that phrasing because it gives very women most affected vibes. And after all, we are a men's rights show and so on. So like I don't like the women are the real victims of this type phrasing, because that once again reinforces the no one giving a fuck about men issue. But I might be being pedantic for the sake of being pedantic there, but still.
Well, I think the reason that it is because like there have been a lot of cases like of transgender it's like someone is arrested and they claim to be a woman, they get transferred into a prison and then they just rape like 5 female inmates. And I think one of the differences is that if a female to male starts shit, like the rest of the males can just beat the crap out of them.
Well, but still, like, again, I realize I'm being pedantic here, but I don't like encouraging the women most affected line. Because that winds up backfiring and doubling down on the problem, because it doubles down on what people automatically believe anyway, and then wouldn't you know it, male victims get screwed over in the crossfire again.
Yeah, I don't want male victims to get screwed over, but like physical force, understanding like the differences between biological men and women. I do understand like they're concerned about the force that like a biological man can apply when put into a private, intimate situation with a woman. Because, and again, a lot of the people do use this ideology just to be sex
As a
therapists.
weapon. Yeah, I know, but it's just it's one of those things of like, hopefully someday we'll be able to put forward a moral initiative without it winding up being herded or think of the women's. But today is not that day yet.
I think one conversation we could have is about deception in dating, because like I think there was a big move on the part of feminists to say that if somebody, deceives you into having sex with them, that's rape. And a lot of, you know, male to female transgender people will not convey that they are transgender to men to deceive them into having sex.
In other words, to put it in the internet's favorite terms, traps are gay.
Yes, indeed. And like people wouldn't have sex with them if they knew
If they knew what equipment was they were packing down there, so to speak. Because again, traps are gay.
Until like by the definition that the feminists set for the rape by deception, a lot of these men out here who are being deceived by the transgender women are being raped.
But you see, when it's male victims, nobody cares, because when bad things happen to men, that's just the world functioning normally. When bad things happen to women, that's when people are allowed to care.
But I think one of the things that I think one of the differences is that like no like a lot of men would give anything for nobody to know that this shit happened.
Yeah, whereas women use it as a badge of honor / a badge of power, because female vulnerability is worth its weight in gold and then some.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, every man grows up realizing that he can't complain about his problems because no one fucking cares. But that's not a travesty to be avoided. That is the world functioning as it's intended to, or something. Derp.
I think it's also a matter of embarrassment.
Well, but there again, it implies part of the duality. Women get embarrassed when they're not allowed to make themselves the center of attention. Men get embarrassed when people realize they have vulnerabilities, because again, every male human on Earth grows up realizing that your problems or issues or vulnerabilities as a man will either go ignored, B, be laughed at, or C, be exploited, and then laughed at.
Though I think that they should absolutely like make it illegal and like make it under the category of rape by deception for a transgender woman not to disclose their transgender status.
Yeah, while we're on this topic, Mr. Trump, if you really want to strike a blow to the wokeness brigade, repeal the Violence Against Women Act and reinstate the Family Violence Prevention and Services Act. You know, the one that was actually closer to being egalitarian about shit.
Also, get rid of no fault. I think no fault divorce is state by state now, but do something about like the divorce, because goddamn.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have a new based senator here in Pennsylvania. If we could try writing to him, see if that gets any action.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna watch a little bit more and then wrap it up, because I do have some homework to do.
Yep.
What they were attempting to undermine. And so that the fact that whoever's written this, it's probably going to be someone like Stephen Miller who's written something like this, because he's quite sharp on all this stuff, or at least it will have had some sort of impact. The fact that they are prepared to go this far with the statement is really, really encouraging.
Yes. I mean, it's all quite obvious, really, but we've reached the point where
the point is it's actually not obvious, which is why we've been stuck in the mire of sort of postmodern categorical deconstruction for 20 years now. It's actually quite a difficult thing to be resolute on if you don't already have the sort of prior understanding of the thing. But whoever has written that has just been well aware. No, this what they're trying to do is dissolve all categories. We're not having it.
I
think it's embarrassing that it is necessary, but I do think that it's good. Is that he is taking such a hardline stance on it. It's like we're not debating this, we're not discussing this, we're not capitulating to this. This insanity ends now.
It's horrifying though that it took 12 years for us to get this far. Like this is the like basic level 1 shit, and it's taken us 12 years to get this far.
So when you're in a hole, the first step is climbing your way out of it.
Mm-hmm. It's staggering how quickly they were able to institute shit as compared to how long it's taken to dislodge them. Because like groups like BAM, By Any Means Necessary, were founded in 2009, and by the time 2013 rolled around, the social justice warriors were already secure enough in their strongholds to start, rolling out the Anita Sarkeesians and company. And pretty much,
well, to be fair,
even though pretty much the second that Elon showed up, or the second Anita showed up, people started pushing back against her. It's taken from 2013 until now before any of this is actually any actual meaningful counter movement has gained any footing.
Well, the thing is, though, they did spend years slowly entrenching their ideology in damn near every aspect of society, both political and private. Entertainment, music, movies, video games. So it's not just the most well-known people. It's all this smaller people who believe the same shit that they do that makes this really hard to get rid of.
Right, but again, it's still. I'm not sure if it's up to their ability to infiltrate or down to our, dragging our feet at learning how to infiltrate. But it took them only a few years to start revealing themselves publicly from 2009 to 2013. And then it took us 12 years to get this far, to swing the pendulum back the other way. It's a little bit scary, all things considered. And even now they're trying to do the whole reflavor and reframe thing with the changing of the titles and things. And I mean, ESG may have bombed, but that doesn't stop them from trying it with Bridge the same way. Now, mind you, Bridge is probably also going to bomb, but that's the point. They're not willing to give up the ground so easily, even if it has taken us 12 years to get even this far.
Yeah, but let's wrap things up. I know you have some reservations about how fast we'll be able to untrench this, but at least you can take some solace in that Odysseus has finally returned home to Ithaca, and now he is cleaning house.
Yeah, no, this is a good beginning. It just needs to be followed by a continuance thereof. And again, it is worth noting that Trump did more in his first week in office than Obama did basically in his entire second term.
Yeah, I gotta say, that was my favorite part of the Odyssey. Just Odysseus comes back and him and Telemachus just wipe the floor with fucking everybody. All right, let's wrap things up. I've been Mr. E.
I've been Dalton Mortimer, the Authenticator. This has been the start of a brand new beginning for our country, and we will see y'all later. Cheers, guys.
Goodbye, everybody.